Wright. Welcome back to the Gridiron Report with David Wright. So I wanted to get on here and ask y'all a few questions and give you an update. So we heard from Dan Quinn, Allegretti, and a couple other our guys will be working their way back on to playing time, which is good news. Um, However, Trey Amos, this is an issue, people. He's not been available most of the year last year. Now we're seeing soft tissue issue to start the year. Then it goes to an ankle that's lingering. So I'm wondering, I'm hoping that Adam Peters will sign a bigger body corner in this next release from the at the end of the preseason. There's going to be a lot of men dropped into free agency, and hopefully we'll pick up some. Also, another issue we've had a problem with was in that game, it was our left guard that had the issue. Um, Goldman held up pretty good. Everyone held up pretty decent. However, our left guard, he has a problem with athletics. He has an issue with pushing, getting up to the second and third levels. He's not extremely athletic. Now, he's really good in the pass blocking, but this whole system that we're building is ran up through the run game. Now, do they figure out a way to make this work? We shall see. Are we going to bring in someone to help in that left guard position? I would hope we get more athletic, but we won't know until we get there. So I wanted to go over real quick our running back room because what we saw from Henry was pretty exciting. So let's dream of a world where there is no Ford left and there is no McNichols left. By the way, McNichols is injured and will be out for a few weeks. This is not alarming to us in the least. So let's just hope he gets back to good health quick. So, in a world where there's no Ford and there's no McNichols, we would be looking at a 25-year-old 5'11 that runs a 4.45 in the 40. Now, I would put Henry at number 2 if you were going to keep him, but not as your number 2 back as far as that would be Rashard White, but speed burst, you're looking at a 4.45, 220. Uh, in Bill, but also with Rashard White, you're looking at a 4.48, 6 foot tall, 214 pounds. To add to the room, you would have Fat Man, which would be your bruiser, 5'11, 220. He's a real between the tackle kind of running back that will get you them short downs most of the time. So if we're living in a world where there's no Rashard, no Jerome Ford, and there's no McNichols, that would leave Henry on the squad. Now this kid only runs a 4.5. He's 5'9", 196 pounds. But that 4-5 is elusive. He's really good on his angles. He's really good at taking the corner. So, with all this said, how do you feel about this running back room if that's what we ended up with? Because in all reality, if Henry's puts up another couple games like what we saw this last game, that could become reality. And I wouldn't be mad at it, but I'd like to know what y'all think. Please put it in the comments and like, share, subscribe. Doesn't cost nothing, but help me a ton. I'd appreciate it a lot. So, I also wanted to cover Von Miller signing with Dallas. Now, I have been trying to get a hold of a couple of my Dallas friends. Let's see how much this moves the needle for them. Haven't heard back from many of them yet. Hopefully, that will be soon. For me, I went back and looked at Dallas's roster, and I could see why they did it. They really had no pass rush. All their beef is in the middle. They should be much better at stopping the run. Pass rush is going to be an issue. Von Miller had 9 sacks last year, which is not great, but for his age is really good. But we're also talking about a year older and a year more damage on his body. So I think it moves the needle, but just a little bit. Jay Tuck had the audacity to say that Stephon Diggs doesn't move the needle over here in Washington. I won't be so arrogant and close-minded. And I will say that this does move the needle a little bit for Dallas. I do think somehow if they could get another pass rush in there to give a hand, that would be more of a needle mover. But hey, Von Miller is better than what you were working with. So you did what you had to do and you got better in the position, and you still have more time to do more. So it'll be interesting to see. But for all of y'all, we talked some about our running back room and what could be if Henry puts up a couple more games of this kind of production. Also, what do you think about the Von Miller signing? How much of a needle mover is that for y'all? And as Washington Redskins fans, um, we've watched some of the issues around the NFC East. You got the Eagles have problems in their receiving core. Mekhi Lemon hurt already. Smith is a low end one to a high end two, but he's definitely not a go up and get it kind of guy. They don't have anyone that replaced Brown when they let him go. They're also having issues with putting that offense together right now. But we do know they still have a defense. Now with Dallas, you see the desperate move. And I'm not saying it's a massively desperate move, but a desperate move by bringing in Von Miller to get some kind of pass rush. And you see the shifting around of the left tackle. So you don't know what their defense will quite be. And you also have a question mark at your left tackle. Then on the Giants, you've already had issues with Dart getting a concussion. There's more issues over there than anyone else in the NFC East. So, as Redskins Nation, my question is, when the schedule came out, we all thought, man, this is extremely tough. And I'm not saying it's not. Wouldn't say that. But seeing all the problems all the other teams are having too, has your needle gone down to the how panicked you were over the first at least 3 games to start the year? I know it's still two NFC's rivals and a Super Bowl champion, but you also just saw Seattle look really bad, and it filtered back a lot to the running game, which I was saying hard to replace an MVP of the Super Bowl when it's the running back. You let him walk. How much would that hurt them? It looks like it could hurt pretty good. So, as far as my Commanders fans and my Redskins fans, did your panic meter go down some on them first 3 games? Do you feel more secure that we can pick up more wins in them? What do you think about all the issues we brought up, including Von Miller being signed to Dallas? Is that a needle mover for you? I appreciate y'all coming back and joining me again. Um, I'm got work tomorrow, and I'm sure y'all do too. I hope y'all have a beautiful Sunday night, and I will catch y'all tomorrow. Thank you for joining me on the Gridiron Report with David Wright. I will see y'all soon. Have a great night.